Andrew Schulz, big up American reader. Andrew Schulz exposes how compromised Joe Rogan truly is. Andrew Schulz exposes how compromised Joe Rogan truly is. By the way, for the longest time, I always thought Andrew Schulz's name was spelled with a T.
This feels distinct. This feels different. This feels like something I haven't seen in my lifetime.
I've never seen this.
Some things are so fucking blatant. It's just right or wrong. The side is right or wrong. It doesn't matter when you're left or the right. The side is right or wrong. Nobody's watching this and be like, this is right. This is the America I want to live in.
Unloading a clip on a U.S. citizen is wrong.
For exercising his constitutional rights.
Yeah.
Right. You need to understand.
Thank you for telling us that. Big up Akash. Unloading a clip into a US citizen is wrong. Oh, really? Thank you. Thank you for letting us know that. Thank you. We wouldn't have known that. I'm glad Akash Singh let us know.
Understand that this isn't organic, regardless of how you feel. I don't feel that that guy should have been shot. But.
All right, so the two guys who know absolutely nothing about politics are speaking about politics again. As Andrew Schulz and Joe Rogan just weighed in on the ongoing ICE crackdowns in Minneapolis, the massive protests that stemmed from that, and of course the tragic shooting of Alex Preddy. And honestly, the way they both approached the topic really just shows how much of a propaganda machine JRE has actually become now. Because instead of sharing his actual thoughts on the topic like Schulz did, Joe Rogan pretty much just parroted whatever JD Vance and right-wing Twitter tweeted about on the issue, as he seems to be deathly afraid of being kicked out of this extremely elite, right-wing friend group that he made for himself over the past 5 years.
There's a lot of people that don't understand what's going on and why.
Yeah, please tell us, Rogan. We don't understand what's going on, so we need you to tell us what's going on. So it's this arrogance. You see the same thing with Hassan Piker, innit? Hassan Piker, I think, sells himself as like, I'm gonna distill, I'm gonna filter, and I'm going to articulate the news for you in a way that you can understand, because it's so complex, the news to get and to figure what's the truth and what isn't the truth, what's false, what's true. I'm gonna tell you, because I'm so smart. My level of understanding, my acumen, my diction is such a high level that I can translate this to you in layman's English. Like, the fucking hubris, man. The fucking hubris.
Riots only in Minneapolis. And why riots in the place where there's an ungodly amount of fraud that has been discovered.
Coincidentally, right around the same time.
Exactly. Like instantaneously afterwards, the narrative completely changes. Everybody forgets about the fraud. Now all anybody cares about is ICE and fascists and Nazis.
Yeah.
And it's there's a, you know what a color revolution is?
Of course.
And for people that don't, it's a coordinated effort to cause chaos. And this is a very coordinated thing. The idea that this is an organic protest, these riots.
So every protest that's against a Trump sort of like directive, right? Any protest that's against the current administration or something that they're putting into effect or whatever is a fake protest. Everybody involved is a paid actor. There's no such thing as a real protest. There's nobody out there that truly disagrees with or is against some of the things that Trump stands for, pushes, policies, whatever. Everything that is out there in terms of protesting is all fake. It's all paid actors, everything. This guy, man.
It's organic is nonsense. I don't feel that that guy should have been shot, but I understand what happened. And what happened was chaos. So what happened, first of all, it wasn't ICE. People need to understand that. It was Customs Border Patrol people, right? And this is not making an excuse for any of it. But you have to just to put it into context. These people are getting harassed outside of any hotel they're at. People blow horns. They try to smash into the hotel.
They dox them.
They dox them. That's why they're wearing masks. It's a coordinated effort.
So yeah, if that clip didn't show you how compromised Joe Rogan really is, then I truly don't know what else will. Because this opinion of Joe's on ICE is actually completely revised. I mean, not too long ago, he was on his podcast criticizing them completely and going as far as to say that ICE is the modern-day Gestapo.
You don't want militarized people in the streets just roaming around, snatching people up, many of which turn out to actually be U.S. citizens that just don't have their papers on them. Are we really going to be the Gestapo? Where's your papers? Is that what we've come to?
So sometime between then and now, he probably got the call from his higher-ups to stick to the script. Like, the guy just cannot speak about what he truly thinks anymore, which is why many people are tuning out of his show. And it's also why he's having more guests on like Andrew Wilson than usual, who's most famous for bashing on women and not being able to open a jar of pickles.
Focus my time and energy on this. I think I'll do really well at it.
Well, I think you have a very unique mind for it.
Not being able to open a jar of pickles is fucking hilarious. And being triggered by that woman, man. Big up that lady that completely obliterated him by pointing out that he's got, well, his wife has like 3 baby daddies. But he's out here talking down on women with baby daddies as well. Hilarious, man.
And I think you're very good at it. And I also think you have really good
Rogan's easily impressed, isn't it? Rogan's easily impressed.
points that are very valuable for people to hear. And you're really good at pointing out the logical fallacies and pointing out the ridiculous thought processes that a lot of these people have. And I you know, that's important, man. It's important for society.
Your wife has 3 baby daddies and has been married twice before.
And you you lick sniz.
Under your religion.
You lick sniz.
What is that?
You're a fucking don't talk shit about my wife, you stupid.
Sniz.
Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your stupid bitch mouth.
Your wife with the 3 baby
What did
daddies?
I just say?
Wife with the 3
Sorry,
baby
doll. I'm
daddies?
sorry. Is she morally inconsequential in comparison to your ditch licking? Come on, you can do it.
Put it right side up. Just
You
so
can do
doesn't
it. You
spill
got
on you.
this.
All right, bro. I can't do it. Here.
All right.
It was like that already. Oh my god.
No,
you're
it
ridiculous.
wasn't. You greased the top.
Use
Oh
your
my
shirt.
Jesus,
Use your
Andrew!
shirt,
If you can't open the
Jesus
olive jar, you
Christ.
cannot
Here,
blame my
while we're doing
hand.
olive jar.
If you're so strong, you should open it.
Yeah, I got to be able to grip it.
Okay, we'll grip it. Let's
It's
go.
literally slippery.
So Joe Rogan
It's him getting mad. I've not seen the full clip. It's him getting mad as well that he can't grip it. Blaming the girl for having what, oily skin. I guess there's some veiled racism there, isn't it? Does Rogan not have any blood in his head? Rogan's always been bald, right? Why does Rogan have a red face, tan something, burned, but his head is completely pale? My Caucasian stream chat, my white niggers, for my white niggers and for my white niggers, for my white brothers and sister niggers, right? For my white brothers and sister niggers, how is that possible? How does Rogan have a red face, red ears, red neck, but his head is completely pale where his hair should be, even though he shaves his head all the time? Someone tell me in the stream chat, please. My white brothers and sisters, how is that possible? Face is red, but this whole bit is pale.
is completely sold out. Everyone knows it, and only the dumbest, most brainwashed people in the country still support him. Like the way that Joe Rogan responded to this whole terrible ICE situation in Minnesota with Andrew Wilson gets even worse when you compare it to Andrew Schulz's reaction. Because as stupid and as unaware as Schulz is at times, he at least is able to speak about his actual opinion on the matter, regardless of whether it severs his relationships with these politicians or not.
All right, let's do it. Let's talk about what happened in Minneapolis. ICE murdered an American citizen in cold blood, and then the Trump administration called him a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like plain and simple.
Yeah.
I see the administration trying to spin it, and it's fucking disgusting. It's like they didn't even have a moment where they're like, hey, we're reviewing the footage. We're going to try to see what's really happening. All of them, Trump and all the cronies, put out collective statements that immediately blamed an American citizen that was exercising his First and Second Amendment rights, right? He has the right to protest. He has the right to carry a firearm. He's a legal gun owner, right? There's no question about this whatsoever. And the administration immediately comes out and they try to gaslight the public, which you cannot do when we have 15 different videos of what happened.
Yes.
And
That is what they do, though.
but that is what they do.
Yeah.
And I think that governments have probably been doing this for centuries, millennia. And now you have a public that is armed with phones and we can see what actually fucking happened. And you're not going to just lie to us, plain and simple, like that.
So yeah, I mean, that's great and all, and in
A little bit too late, innit? I don't know. Again, I'm not involved in politics. You know, I try not to make this channel political. I try to stay away from politics on Taz. I try to stay away from talking about it in general. But I have to say, if I was American and you know what I mean, I'd be insulted by this stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I'd be insulted. These guys played a role in getting Trump elected. They didn't, you know, it wasn't all their fault, but they did play a considerable role in getting Trump elected. I think he's been pretty outright. Say what you want about Trump, but I don't think he's a mysterious guy. Say what you want about Trump, he doesn't strike me as a mysterious guy. He's not very mysterious. It was fairly evident what he was going to do when he came into power once again, or if he ever got elected again. And the fact that they're all surprised by what's happening and what's playing out and what's transpiring in real time is somewhat insulting. Don't get me wrong, it's a good thing that he's admitting some of these things, calling out the way he is, because this is kind of the opposite of what Joe Rogan's doing. But I don't know, if it was me and I was American, I'd feel a little bit insulted. I feel a little bit insulted. Like, you motherfuckers played a role in getting this guy elected. Now you're surprised when he's doing what he said he was going to do. So,
Comparison to Joe Rogan's take, it's actually something you could probably relate to much more. But even then, when you take a look back at the way this guy glazed old Donny Boy before the elections, and the way he bragged about it on his podcast after getting Trump elected, it all definitely makes you raise an eyebrow.
That's the thing as well. It was a brag after. It's one thing having your preferred candidate, but it was the brag after. It was almost like they were sort of like, I won't say condescending, not the right word. It was just a brag, it was almost like they were kind of like laughing at the American citizens who maybe didn't want Trump to get elected, ha ha, we got him elected, ha ha, you guys lost, so like the mocking tone of it was a bit unnecessary. And now you're turning back and you're doing the whole sad face and shit. It's like, stay over that side, man, stay over that side.
Wow. I mean, it's great that they're speaking out now and are positioning themselves against something that they find to be unjust, but the internet is forever. So just like no one will forget Akash getting stepped on by his wife, no one's gonna forget the way the Flagrant Boys licked Donald Trump's shoes clean and proudly, might I add.
We got to save our country. Look, we are a nation in decline, whether you like it or not.
I hate hearing that.
I know. I hate
that.
It.
Hurts me. That hurts me. As a proud American,
Well, what you like though is, but we're going to be greater than ever before.
So that's, I think, the messaging that I think.
Yeah.
I think that's really nice
to hear.
Well,
that's my ultimate message. But you can't avoid the fact that we've allowed 21 million people into our country in the last 3.5 years. And I don't know your persuasion. I don't know if you guys are liberal or what, but nobody can be happy with 21 million people openly walking into a place we don't know. And it was released last week that 13,000 of those people are murderers. 13,099.
That's a good point, actually, isn't it, right? Instead of like, it's one thing talking about the negatives and about the things that are wrong, but surely you'd think one of the things that you want to do to, like, imagine like the ICE thing is a good example, right? Because at the heart of it, the deportations and shit, especially of illegal immigrants, is never going to go down well, especially in a country like America with how it's been founded and the idea. It's not going to, although there's an issue with immigration, illegal immigration, especially around the world, it's just going to be a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people, especially in North America, based on, whatever's transpired in the past. But you think an easy way to win, if you wanted to keep the ICE thing going on, you'd want to keep it to be as heavy-handed as it is. You'd want to show the positive sides of what's happened since ICE has been implemented, right? Just even as a fake win. Imagine if you deported, 500 illegal immigrants, and then soon after you ran a propaganda campaign or some sort of advertisement that maybe showed the benefits of this, of like, oh, look at the drop in crime rate. Look at the money that we've now been able to reallocate from all of these people who are claiming benefits from the government. We've now been able to kind of put this back into this local, improve the park, improve this, open a new wing in the library. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been so good to see, but there's not much of that. It's all just like, okay, let's demonize immigrants. Let's demonize illegal immigrants. Let's get them out by any means necessary, whatever force is necessary. But then you're not really showing the positive aspects. I mean, maybe to give the people who are undecided, a reason to kind of grin and bear it and to be okay with what they're seeing, play out in real time. Like, okay, cool. We're having to put up with some uncomfortable images and videos and horrible accounts and, maybe some things that are maybe a little bit, on the edge of being illegal. But it's for the greater good, because this is now going to improve our economy. We're going to have more local jobs available for people. It's going to improve our education system. It's going to make our neighborhood safer. Do you know what I mean? You want to show the positives of what's going on, but so far, you know, you've got these people getting killed. You got people losing eyes. You got, you know what I mean? You got so much carnage, but not a lot of good stories. Not a lot of good stories, testimonies have come from this, unfortunately. And I wonder if that's just a part of like Trump's communication style, innit? There's not a lot, which is strange because before he got into politics, he was very celebratory, you know, very celebratory, very kind of talking about what I can do as opposed to, but maybe as politics, maybe in politics, you kind of always have to talk about the negatives so that you kind of sound like you are providing solutions.
Powerful bunch.
I don't know.
When it comes to influencers and politics, my POV is a bit more nuanced. I can see why either side feels angry or slighted. I think the solution is to burn every streamer and podcaster alive and film it for clips and donos, us included.
Yeah, probably. That might be the best. That might be a better distraction. Maybe that's what we need. That's the distraction that we truly need. We truly need that distraction. Maybe you're right. Maybe that would heal the world somewhat if we were all distracted by all the content creators out there in the world getting fucking lit, getting fucking put on a fucking skewer. That would be actually a good thing. Big up us, Aussies.
13,000 of those people are in prison. They're incarcerated for murder, and they let them out.
I think you have support on this, though. I think everybody,
tremendous support,
regardless.
I think I'll let you know. I'll let you know on November 6th. Yeah, if I have support.
Yeah. But
or even the scene in Narcos. Remember, there's a scene in Narcos. Maybe the latest season in Narcos where they catch this big drug dealer, in like a desert somewhere, and all these drugs kind of he gets into a car crash, or they make his car crash. Sorry, and then they light all his drugs on fire. Remember the episode of Narcos? Like, even visually, if Trump did that, imagine you're deporting all these illegal immigrants, right? You're putting them in these fucking detention centers. You're breaking up all these gangs. Imagine you did a confiscation. You confiscated all these drugs, right? You did a big drugs bust, a big drug seizure, and you just powered them all up into a massive pyramid. You just lit it all on fire. Or you got one of those fucking javelins, and you just, you know, launched it from afar, and, you know, with a fucking kit, with a fucking missile. Just the symbolism of that alone and what that would do, you know? That would be maybe a good thing to do, to kind of make people be okay, or make people maybe stomach and put up with some of this ice fuggery a bit more. Because so far, it's not really been, you know, not really been much positives have come out of this so far. It's just been a lot of pain and misery, really.
After the election,
I don't think there's pushback.
This group influenced the presidential election of 2024.
Yo, listen.
Ain't that fucking crazy?
Don't even say influence. We decided.
We were the turning point.
Just know, he was not up until this pod.
That's true.
After the pod, he surges, 3 or 4%?
Yeah, it was a wrap, dude.
Never went back down after that.
Over the past couple of years, Andrew Schulz and Joe Rogan have both, for whatever reason, shifted their once casual comedy podcasts into serious political platforms, which was a move that seemed to annoy a lot of their fans, as Schulz and Rogan have no idea what they're talking about when it comes to politics.
That's something I think that everybody can agree with on either side of the aisle. I think every single person on either side of the aisle can agree that you don't want to hear political talk from any comedian, especially not Rogan, especially not Schulz. You don't want to hear it. I find that quite fascinating, innit? Whatever side of the aisle you're on, you don't want to hear political conversations or talking points from either party. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
And in Joe Rogan's case specifically, this entire segment with Andrew Wilson is like a perfect snapshot of how far the show has fallen. Because instead of reacting to Alex Preddy getting shot with any kind of empathy or seriousness, the whole thing instantly turns into this weird right-wing fan fiction about color revolutions and orchestrated chaos. Like, you can literally hear them just parroting right-wing Twitter.
Like, look at the difference.
Yeah.
Look at the difference. They shortened up his face. They gave him a little bit of a tan. They widened his face a little bit, it seems like. They just made him a little handsomer.
Yeah.
A little hotter.
They gave him a bit of that Chad jaw, didn't they?
They shrunk his nose a little too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
They shrunk his nose.
Yeah.
Gave him a little bit of a handsome jaw. So he looks like an
Even
American.
made him. If you look at the shoulders, it even looks like they may have plumped up the shoulders there a bit.
A little bit, yeah. The one on the right looks like he's a little plumper. Yeah. They changed the tone of the color. Wild. I mean, they changed his fucking teeth, man.
Don't get me wrong. There's clearly a difference in the edit. But considering the way this guy was killed, this shouldn't really be the focus in it. I understand the edit is the edit. The way that they fucking yassified this guy is fucking diabolical, to be honest. They made his arms look fuller. They clearly made him look way more handsome, right? To try and make him, and again, this goes back to clavicular. Big up clavicular. He's definitely was right. Sometimes being attractive definitely helps, especially even in situations like this. Maybe people feel more empathy for you if you're more good looking. So maybe that's what they were trying to pin it on. I'm not too sure. Or maybe they just got a picture of him from social media that was doctored that they didn't know was doctored before. I'm not too sure. There's clearly a difference in the imagery. But again, this shouldn't be the fucking focus of this story. This really shouldn't be the focus. I know. It's clear. There is clearly an edit there. We can see the edit. We can see the fucking edit. But considering what happened, considering how horrible it was, I don't think this should be the focus of the story. You know? It really shouldn't be the focus. But hey, what do I know?
Communist News Network.
Look, they gave him veneers.
Yeah.
Look at the difference in his teeth. He's a much more handsome guy. Like that one on the right is like the handsome brother. And the one on the left is like, fuck!
Yeah.
Why couldn't I look like
the
my
one on the
goddamn
right,
brother?
Yeah, the one on the right, they were twins and he took more of the protein.
Right.
Right. That was what happened. The thing is like this doesn't surprise me, by the way.
And what's even more insane is how Joe tries to sound balanced while doing this. Like he keeps saying, I don't think he should have been shot, but then immediately launches into the longest possible explanation for why it's actually understandable and why everyone else is at fault. Meanwhile, Andrew Schulz, as annoying as he can be, at least reacted like a human being. Like he's at least capable of looking at something like this and going, yeah, this is insane and wrong. He's able to acknowledge that people are going to drag him for it and that he kind of deserves it.
First of all, I know we've had Trump on the podcast. I know there's probably people like you guys are the last ones that I want to hear talk about this. I don't think any of us are having this conversation to like curry any like goodwill or, you know, get people to like us or something like that. This is something that is undeniably abhorrent and we should be called out. Simple as that. Like, it's disgusting.
I get the frustration. People are like, oh, but you guys were with them, da-da-da. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I get it.
100%. I get it. Yeah. Again, if you never want to watch another thing again because we have Trump on, that is totally fine. Respect it. I completely get it. You're 100% allowed to be frustrated.
We made that decision knowing it was open to criticism. All right, there it is.
No knock on any criticism. That being said, like moving forward, we don't just like stay silent when something has this. Like if we do have a platform, there's people that we're talking to, you know, and we see something that is just so blatant. There's no like partisan bullshit with this. If you see it with your own eyes, you know exactly what happened. And there's something disgusting that's happening, not only in Minneapolis, I'm sure it's happening in other parts of the United States.
And that's why the Schulz comparison matters. Because Schulz is basically doing the thing that Joe used to pretend to do, which is to react honestly, even if it makes you look bad. But the problem for Schulz is that the internet remembers everything. It remembers the glazing, and it remembers the shoe licking. It also remembers the bragging about we got him elected like it was a trophy.
What a fucking election special. It is crazy that we had any influence at all.
Yeah, it's really nuts, dude. I texted you. That's the most insane
absurd.
shit ever. My wife looked at me at around 10 p.m. and she goes, you did this. That's it.
But yeah, that's basically the entire...
They were literally gloating at one point, isn't it? Funny how things pan out. Like, I don't know. If I'm MAGA too, right? I'm a little bit offended at these guys. These like fair weather MAGA fans, you know? They make the whole MAGA movement a little bit null and void. They kind of ruin it, you know? They kind of spoil things. These fair weather MAGA fans, because if you're a real MAGA head, you're in it for the long haul. You're ride or die. You know, you were with Trump, like that famous saying Trump said, if he went to Times Square and shot somebody, you know, his fans will still be there, right? The MAGA people will still be there. I think that's very, very true. The Trumpers wouldn't leave. If you're a real Trump's fan, you will have to be okay with whatever comes out in the media about him. You have to be okay with making, you agree to make an excuse for everything that comes out about the guy, because it's hard to really have a line. You know, it's hard to have a line when it comes to him because he's done so many, you know, maybe let's say distasteful things over the years. So you kind of have to be okay with just riding until the wheels fall off. So the fact that these guys are now suddenly gaining a conscience because they've seen a couple of innocent quote unquote people get killed is like, come on, bro. What did you think was going to happen being a Trump fan? I mean, blood was going to be spilled. Some things were going to happen that maybe would go against your, way that you perceive the world, your constitution and shit. But you have to remain strong. And these motherfuckers just turn and tuck tail. So in some respects, you can understand why Rogan is standing tall about this whole thing and making excuses, but it's still pretty horrible to see. In general, me personally going forward, I just much rather we live in a world where comedy podcasts are just comedy podcasts, man. I don't need to hear from stand-up comedians about politics and social issues. I just don't. They're the worst people to hear from because much like DJs, their job kind of requires them to be a little bit, what's that word called? Their job requires them to be very immature, to be very infantile, to be in a state of arrested development, By default, them being comedians, like these guys are like in their 40s, some of them approaching their 50s, and they act like children because that's part of being a comedian. You have to kind of remain a little bit naive, a little bit, silly, a little bit whatever, a little bit immature. You can't be the most well-rounded, mature adult and also be a stand-up comedian. It probably doesn't make for good stand-up. You kind of have to have a little bit of, whatever in you. So I don't want that person who is hired or whose job requires him to be immature, whose job requires him to be silly, to then start talking about or opining about politics. I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it. So I hope going forward we have no more of this and just comedy. Please, for the love of God. Please, for the love of God. Let's read the comments here quickly. Big up American Redact. Joe really had the pickle jar guy on. Damn, bro, he has fallen so far. It's so true. I believe that. Joe, what am I supposed to do? Push back Rogan. Joe Rogan is the politics as Rogan is the comedy. Rogan has no individual thoughts. He just parrots the last thing he heard. Rogan used to warn us about weird lizard people. Now he's quickly becoming one. Jerry having Andrew Wilson on tells us everything. Joe is inorganic because I disagree with you, Rogan. Getting outflanked by Schulz regarding Nazis is crazy work. Joe in Austin telling us what really is going on in Minneapolis. He astral projects there using DMT. Joe Rogan talked to the Ulick sniz guy. Jesus. If only anyone could have warned anyone about any of this. He interviewed the sniz guy. Nothing says before the world but really counts. There's a lot of people who don't understand what's going on. Joe Rogan who has no clue what's going on. Joe, I'm all for the Peter Thiel Palantir mask thugs. I loved small government, but go feds. Rogan. Joe having daughters and having this guest on is wild. If you need Joe Rogan and Schulz to tell you to think how to think, then you're already in trouble. I'm from Minneapolis and hearing someone call out protest riots makes my blood boil. He's talking to Andrew Wilson. Oh God, Lord. Oh wow, the official twins. So they're on there too. Cool. Those are the twins in it that do that dance really cool. One of them used to go out with Madonna back in the day. And they think they do backup dancing for Beyonce and shit as well. Calling protests more coordinated than government crackdown is fucking ponderous. Sorry. Rogan's got blood on his hands. Yeah.
Powerful bunch.
Big up
Joe Rogan for president. Bring on AI Jesus and Virgin Mary computers. Kettlebells in every household and alpha brain in all the water fountains.
Big up Assad disease. Big up Assad disease. Absolute fucking legend. Cool. Let's move on.